I just remember my best memories, and this is years later, were how we helped each other. And
Yeah,
the musicians in a group is an amazing thing, of any
it
style,
is.
of any whatever they're working on. It's just, when you what was it like with you your first time working with other musicians to create a song? And we're starting, and you could move it on to what it's like now, but I'm just curious, like the first time you walk in a room and you're like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna do this, and like, no, we are.
Yeah. Like the first time I went to Nashville and I was like, okay, so this is I want, even now when I go there and I work with the musicians there, I'll say, I want this song to have a like a Drake White kind of feel, or Chris Stapleton, whatever. I think the last time I said Drake White and so bluesy kind of country. And then the leader of the band, who's like the owner of the studio, he goes, "Yeah, I just recorded with Drake the other week." So I think I gotcha. I'm like, okay, good. They're gonna because
All
they're gonna
right.
take this song that they've never heard, like that I've written, and then they play it like they've played it for years
I
on the
love those
road and at
guys.
shows. It's like all they have to do is listen to it once, and then, you kinda talk to them about the way you want like, your vision for the song, and give them a reference song, for example, and they just play it like they've always played it. It's insane. I could say that wasn't the beginning of my journey in the studio. I started, here in Canada with a
Pop.
producer, and I was about 15, and he was wonderful. He was like a father figure to me, because my father never really supported, like, he supported me, but he was always like, you know, like, "You're living a pipe dream," you know? And then, me and
Yeah.
mom were like, "Well, we don't care, we're doing it, like, whatever, we're going." And we were always going somewhere singing on the weekends. I never saw my friends or anything, but
That's where I
because I
wanted to
wanted.
go soon. Yeah.
Yeah, like, I never, um if my friends wanted to hang out, they knew that, like, they'd have to, like, ask, like, in advance, because I usually was always somewhere on the weekend playing or singing
Or
and,
practicing or
performing
writing
or
or, yeah,
going
something.
to the
Yeah.
studio. Yeah, like, I would say that those years, like, I was so lucky. That girl back then didn't have any clue how many dues I would have to pay even after that.
Yeah.
I was just like, I was just so lucky. And I knew I was talented. I knew that I loved to do it. I knew that I could if I had the right support system. Um, but man, it was the beginning of a crazy journey. And deciding to leave when I was about 18 or 19, I decided to do it all on my own, like without any kind of investors or any kind of producers or
Ouch.
labels. So I totally switched, yeah, who I was working with, to a different type of music. And that's kind of that's when I got into country, because I was more pop back then.
I did want to ask, how did your mother interact with you, or how did that conversation go when you're like, I want to go country? And she's your manager, and she's been with you through all the pop and
Yeah.
pageantry and the shows there, and she's like, 100% yes, or was there
Yep.
discussions?
She was 100% yes. And she's always been,
Hey,
because
mom.
I know she's like, she's amazing, and because she knew that even as a kid, like, I loved, everything, like Avril Lavigne, Christina Aguilera, Mariah Carey, Whitney Houston. I loved, um, Martina McBride, Jody Messina, like Shania Twain. I loved everything,
I love
and
these keywords going into my text search. Just keep going.
yeah. Well, then, you know, I just had so much to look up to, and, like, my dad loved country music, so he was really happy. He's like, "Finally, after all these years, you're gonna do country," because he loves '90s country, and I grew up on '90s country, Garth Brooks, Martina McBride, and, Shania. Um, but then my mom, we grew up listening to my mom's cassette tapes. That'll tell you how old I am.
It tells me exactly how old you are.
Tom Cochrane, Stevie Nicks, Fleetwood Mac. So I loved classic rock, I love pop, I love country. So it wasn't a huge surprise to her when I told her. I was like, let's try
Well,
this, let's do it different.
Yeah, and some of those bands are country related. Fleetwood Mac
Yeah.
is solidly rock, but there's a very
Yeah.
big country vibe in there, especially their stories of, if you know the history of how some of those songs came to be, like, oh, you
Yeah.
cheated on me with this other person in the band, so I'm going to write a song about it and make you perform it every night for the rest of your life.
Every night next to
That's
me.
country. That's
That
country.
you got it. That's country right there at its finest.
Yeah.
Just need a
And
dead dog in there somewhere.
I have remind me later. I have a Canadian country question. I did have one. What was it like while you were having clear success? Whether other people were asking about your plan B or not, you were in high school during this, correct? And how
Mm.
did your high school as a school react to that, or even your classmates? I know you were bullied. Did some of that stop,
Mm.
or did it get worse?
It actually got a lot better. And the crazy thing is, once my first album was released, we sold out the venue.
Somewhere to
I was
go?
about 15. It was
Oh no, that was
called
later.
Live No Lies. So actually that one's available. Not even I think I have copies of it here at home, but I don't it's not on
I want one
Spotify or
before you get
anything.
super famous and I can't get it anymore.
Yeah, right. You sell it on eBay or something.
No, I
Um
don't know. Well,
I
how
love
famous?
that album actually. Like I every time I think about it and I go back to it, I uh I still love it as a songwriter. Um and
I love that. I love that. That's
yeah, like
that you still love what you've done, even though you're not that person anymore.
oh, for sure. And a lot of the kids at school were they didn't know because I started getting a lot of promotion with the newspapers, like the Ottawa Sun. We had like a whole spread done up and I had like a photo shoot and I got all these cool new clothes that I didn't like for free, advertising other businesses in the market
Heck yeah.
In Ottawa. And then in this Ottawa Citizen, I had a big first like front page spread. And it was the people and the students and from my friends in the school, they were just like kind of like, wow,
She
Bree's
might be the
famous
real
all of a
deal.
sudden.
Like,
Yeah. He's famous all of a sudden, and, like, it's not that I was never really a popular kid. I got along with everyone, and I was, as I said, introverted, so it didn't it kind of was it was uncomfortable for me, to be recognized like that, but I knew that that's what the goal was. So, I mean, I just kinda went with it, and
yeah.
I had my, like, high school boyfriend for 3 years, and he was in my first music video and all that.
Oh, that's cool. I
Yeah.
mean, can you stand watching it now? Or are you friends now? Like,
Yeah, well, no, we don't talk,
we
anymore.
don't
I
have to
think
go
I
there.
saw him, like, for a few years ago at a wedding. But yeah, you could see him in my video. It's the first music video I ever did. It's called, I Will Be, and we spent, like, $35,000 on that video, now it's like you can do a full music video for, like, a dollar, using an app. So it's
Yeah, you gotta
like
pay for the iPhone first, though.
you
I
gotta
mean,
pay for your
yeah,
device, yeah.
yeah.
And you
That's the
have to learn
barrier.
how to do it all on your own, the editing
And
and
you
stuff,
can
but
enter. I found this out last week. Last guest, Dean Redmond. He runs the Hollywood North International Film Festival, and he says anybody can enter. The fees are all super low. People have entered with videos made on an iPhone. Uh,
wow.
like you can enter film festivals. Anybody can. Like I love that. Now the
Yeah.
barrier is low, and everybody can be. If you have an art, chances are you have a way to
Yeah.
get into it.
You can do it. Yeah, it's all
I
do it
love it.
yourself. Go to YouTube and figure it out,
Just that's
Figure
what
out
we're
how to
trying to do. Yeah.
well, and that's what we're doing too with my, our podcast, The Distillery, you know? I mean, I was going through a lot this summer and I was just like, I wanna find something to take my mind off, things that were happening, and I'm like, I wanna build a koi fish pond. And I've always wanted a pond. Like, ever since I was a little girl, I wanted
Okay.
a pond, and my dad never let me build one. I've got my own house now. I'm,
Now you're a
a
grown ass
mom.
adult.
I'm a grown ass woman, and I was like, "I'm gonna do it." Went to YouTube, TikTok, learned everything about it, like, and it's because I love it. It was fun. It's fun still. And now I've got my koi fish, and they're huge, and I just go up to my pond every time I can, just, like, kind of bring it back down to basics, like, just go back into like, a zen state. They've really those koi fish have really got me through a lot.
I love that. I really do. That's I get it too. Every other weekend, I live closer to the city than I grew up in the country. My neighbors had cows.
Oh,
I
mine
live closer to
too.
the city now, but every other weekend when the weather's okay, I have to go to my camp. And what I do at the camp is nothing. I sit
Nothing.
by a fire.
Yeah.
I walk around and look at the trees I've looked at for years. Like I just have to, and
Mhm. Oh,
I
for
have to.
sure.
So I get the koi. I get that something you've always
Yeah.
wanted, and here it is. I've always wanted to just, and a lot of times I'm solo. Sometimes friends stop by. Sometimes the wife's with me, but like that,
Mhm.
that's there for me. That's my
That's your
focus.
place, yeah.
Yeah. I
That's
love that.
cool.
I'm glad you have that, and, like,
Yeah.
he's like, "Nope, I'm getting that pond."
I'm
Yeah.
getting it, I'm doing it, I don't care, I'm just gonna do it, throw my mind into it. It was really fun, and I'm
So,
still having fun.
I wanna go so in, that was your first album. Did you have any between your first album and 2012?
Yes, so my first album, was 15, and then I did another 2 albums with the same producer and the same company. One was called Ready to Fly, and then the next one was called No Regrets. Um, and on No Regrets, we had 4 songs that we did with a producer in the UK who used to work with, Elton John in the '70s, and, we got to go to Stoke-on-Trent, which is a little pottery town, and we recorded at this studio called Prism Studios, and, we
That
did 4
sounds
songs,
familiar.
and it was really cool. I got to see, the studio where the Beatles, Abbey Road, the
Yeah.
Beatles played and recorded, and I mean, I was still so young at that point that I didn't really even realize how cool the experience was.
Yeah, I
That's why I
get
say
it. I
every time I think about those years, I'm like, "God, I didn't even know how badass that was," you know?
but
Um, yeah,
how could you? Like,
yeah.
you're
I
not
was
the
just
same person you were then. Like, you're
no.
very I can always remind people, like, when they don't want they hold a grudge from childhood because this kid did something mean. I'm like, "You realize that was a kid that did that to another
Yeah,
kid. You're an adult and they're an
exactly,
adult. Like, maybe there's regret on their side." And I don't know.
exactly.
We were kids. We did a lot of dumb stuff. And
Mhm. Kids
I give
do.
myself forgiveness. I could try to give others some too, but like, yeah, why would you
Yeah.
do that? Like Beatles, they're an old guy band. I don't know. And
And,
then
like,
you get
Elton
the
John, oh
history and you see the
yeah.
influence. Yeah, this guy, he worked with some other old guy who wrote a song on a piano.
Who wrote, like
And
yeah,
then you read what Elton John has done
yeah.
in the music world. And you're like, oh, well, maybe he was,
Maybe
like a
he was, like, the real deal. I don't know.
yeah, maybe we'll
But I
find out.
yeah. And I was so like I had all these opportunities, and 18-year-old Bree was invited to the Elton John show at the Corel Center here in Ottawa at the stadium to sit right in the middle on the
Oh
floor
my.
where the sound tech was and just enjoy the concert, and like, you know, my mom and then my management at the time, they were just like, "God, we would die for this opportunity, and she's getting it," you know?
And you got to sit at
So
the best place
yeah.
audio wise in the entire place because the
Yeah,
sound guy's
and
right there.
exactly. You just watch him do his thing. It was
Yeah.
crazy. It
I
was
love sitting
cool.
right behind the sound guy, or even I went to a show recently where I watched the camera guys and lighting guys and the whole behind the sound. It was
Do their
almost
thing, yeah.
more impressive because it was just a full on a choreographed show, almost musical, but it was just wonderful seeing the people that are also working on the stage.
Oh, for sure, yes.
Yeah,
'Cause
it was good
it's
stuff.
not just about the stars, not just about like, there's so many working parts. It's
A
about
good
those,
crew
you
makes a
know
good show.
yeah, and those people, the reason why they got into it because they love music, or they're somehow connected to music, and it's all
Best way to
everyone
see a free
has
show.
yeah, yeah.
I've
Be a
I've
part of
been
the
I've been
entourage.
security at when I couldn't afford tickets, I volunteered to do security for
Oh,
bands. Like, and
nice.
then like it easily could have went. Now we need you to do rigging. Now we need you to like. Can you
Yeah.
at least haul the guitar equipment in from the truck? I could have. That was next steps.
Yeah.
I
That's cool.
got to get through. I love talking to you. I am rambling. I apologize.
That's all good.
It
I
was
do
super
too.
fun. So
Well, thank you.
in 2012, you did the country switch.
Mhm.
You became the lady you are today. 2015, Believe. Sorry,
Believe, you got
I
it.
know how
Yeah.
to sit. And then in 2018, Demons. But here's
Mhm.
something that I was going through your list on Spotify of your most popular songs.
Mhm.
First one, I'm sure you know, Flip Flops and White Claws.
Yep.
Most listened
Yeah.
to. With You Whiskey, which Josh and I just listened to before you got on. Bottom of
Nice.
the Bottle would be number 3. And then
Right.
number 4 is Hell on High Heels. And this tells me something about country music fans in that alcohol sells more than sex.